Hey everybody, I thought I'd send you another Papa story. I wanted to show you what's been happening here at our home. Mugga had a birthday, a big 60th birthday, and guess what? This is our dining room. She put up a lot of photos when she was a little girl. That almost looks a little bit like Gemma. And look at that, but look at all these books. She was 60 years old and she wanted to have people bring her books so she could donate them to people that needed help. And so she got over 100 books. Look at all these books. Isn't that amazing? Holy cows, there's just piles of books. Well, guess what? I looked through those books and I found one I thought you might be interested in. So right now I'm coming over and see we still have some birthday stuff going on. Happy birthday. And look at that, happy birthday. But this is a book that I thought it'd be fun to read to you from the ones that came during her birthday. So, here we are. I hope you're all doing really good. I love you. It's been a little while since I read you a book. This is a little bit bigger book, and it's about Henry and Mudge. Henry is a boy, and Mudge, can you say Mudge? Mudge is a dog. So there's the boy in a sleeping bag, and there's Mudge, a sort of a bigger dog. Well, I hope you're all doing well, and things are going well for you. I love you, and I thought I'd read you this story. Also, I wanted to say a secret word. Emergency hug. Sometimes Papa likes emergency hugs, and I love to give an emergency hug to a wonderful grandson or granddaughter. And I hope you like to get emergency hugs. Okay, well, let's go ahead and read the story. I think it's a pretty fun one. And let's see how we get started here. Okay, it's called They're Going to Big Bear Lake. In August, Henry and Henry's big dog Mudge always went camping, and they went with Henry's parents. So let's take a look at this. There is Henry, and there is Henry's parents. And look at, they're packing the car, and there is Mudge. Can you say Mudge? That's sort of a funny name for a dog. So there's Henry and his parents and Mudge, and they're getting ready to go on a camping trip. And look at some of the things they're looking at. Do you see the hatchet and a flashlight? And they've got some, looks like a canteen by my finger for water, and then a roll to sleep on. Has a foam pad. Uh-oh. And I just noticed something. Mudge is sniffing a box of crackers. Do you ever like to eat crackers? Well, I guess Mudge does. Henry's mother had been a campfire girl, and she knew all about camping. She knew how to set up the tent, so there's his mom. And she knew how to set up the tent. She knew how to get a fire going. You guys, I think most of you know how to do a fire when we've gone to the cabin. And look at that. Look at that. She knows how to set up a fire also for cooking. Okay, well, we're getting to know everybody. Henry's dad didn't know anything about camping. He just came with a guitar and a smile. He loved to sing, but he didn't know anything about camping. I think you guys know a little bit about camping. Henry and Mudge loved camping. This year they were going to Big Bear Lake, And Henry couldn't wait. There's a picture of the lake. Do you see the water and the hills and the mountains and the trees? Henry's really excited to go to Big Bear Lake. And I hope you're excited about going to the cabin. So Henry starts talking to Mudge, and he said, guess what, Mudge? It's going to be so fun. We're going to see some deer. Do you see the deer? And he says, we might even see a raccoon. And he's telling Mudge about this and trying to get Mudge excited. I don't know if Mudge can even understand what he's saying, but he's trying to pass on his excitement to Mudge because Henry, he's excited. He said, oh my gosh, we might even see a bear. There's a picture of a bear scratching his back on the back of a tree. He said, but don't worry, we probably won't see a bear. And he put his arms around Mudge and said, let's get ready to go. And look at his sleeping bag there, and he's got his boots on, and he's hugging Mudge. Okay. Mudge gave a big, slow, loud yawn. Do you know how to yawn? You do a yawn when you're almost ready to go sleep. And so he was just being a dog, wanting to maybe take a nap. And Henry was trying to get him excited about going on the camping trip. Henry giggled and said, we're getting ready to go. We're gonna go camping. Are you excited, Mudge? Henry was wanting to get Mudge all excited. Oh boy, look at this. Henry and Mudge and Henry's parents drove to Big Bear Lake. They parked the car and got ready to hike. Well, look at this picture. They drove up into the mountains and they got out of the car. Oh, there's a sign that says lake. Look at the trees. They're not in the city anymore. And there's his mom and dad, and there's Mudge. They're getting their shoes on. Do you see them getting their shoes on? And they got a map. Do you see the map in their hand? Shows all the different trails you can walk on. I think they're going to have some fun. Everyone had a backpack. Even Mudge had a backpack. Guess what Mudge's backpack had in it? Crackers. Look at Mudge with his backpack. Oh my, and it's full of crackers. But look at everybody's walking. There's the mom with her stick. There's Henry. There's Mudge. There's Henry's dad, and he's got his guitar with him even. Do you see the guitar? And they said, let's go. They climbed and walked and climbed and climbed, and it was beautiful. Look at that. Look at the lake in the background. Do you see the lake far away? That looks sort of nice. Henry saw a fish jump straight out of the stream. I've seen that happen. It's sort of cool to go watch that. And you know we have some lakes pretty close to our cabin, and there's fish that'll jump right out of the lake. And there's a fish that just jumped right out of the lake. Guess what else they saw? Some deer. They said they saw a doe and a fawn. And maybe you've not heard those names, but a doe is a girl deer and a fawn is a baby. Oh my, they also found some little waterfalls and even a rainbow. That's pretty cool. Mudge didn't seem to care or see much about anything. He just loved to smell. So he was spending some time smelling. Oh, he was smelling. You can see where he's been walking around. Look at the lake. But Mudge is having a good time smelling stuff. Mudge loved to hike and to smell. He smelled a raccoon that must have been there yesterday, and he smelled a deer that might have been there from last night. So there he is. Can you see Mudge? Looking and smelling. Dogs can smell really good. And they can smell things we can't smell. So sometimes, even when a deer walks by, they can smell that the deer was there. And it gets them all excited. He smelled an oatmeal cookie from Henry's backpack. Mudge, Henry laughed, giving Mudge the cookie. So there is Mudge smelling his backpack. And he was wanting to give him a cracker and a cookie. Do you see Mudge's backpack? And look at the trees. Oh my, finally Henry's mother picked a good place to camp. Look where they got to. Do you see the lake? They finally made it to the lake. Do you see the tree? Oh, they've got places. How's that look? I think they're going to have a good time. Henry's parents set up the tent. Henry unpacked the food and the pans and the lanterns, and Mudge unpacked a ham sandwich. Finally, the camp was almost ready. It just needed one more thing. Look at them getting all set up. There's a tent they're putting up. Have you ever set up a tent? And look at the lanterns. Can you find a lantern? Makes light at night. And they set up a place for a fire. Do you see the place for a fire? And the sticks to cook their food? And the pots and the pans? Oh, Mudge is eating a sandwich. He found a sandwich. Look at what they've got. Look at the lake. Goes all the way around. Isn't that fun? Well, what is the one thing it needed? Well, what it needed was a song. So Henry's dad started singing a song, and they started enjoying that. Do you guys like singing songs? Well, I wish I knew how to play the guitar. I think Uncle Sam knows how to play the guitar. Maybe it'd be fun to listen to him sometimes. Well, look at that. Do you see the hot dogs they're cooking on the fire? Yeah, they're having a good time. And do you see the water and the sun setting? Oh, isn't that nice? They're having a great time up in the mountains. And he's just playing some songs. Oh my, it was a beautiful night after the sunset. Henry and Henry's parents lay on their backs by the fire and looked at the sky. Look at them. And look at them looking up into the sky. Do you see the fire? And do you see Henry's parents and Henry? And they're pointing to some of the stars. And Henry said he had never seen so many stars before. Do you know our cabin has bazillion stars? Because wherever it's dark, you can see the stars. When you're in a city, it's hard to see the stars. You see some of them. But when you get to a place that is dark, you would be shocked how many stars you can see. And sometimes the sky looks just lit up with stars. And so there's Mudge, just enjoying smelling and sniffing. But look at all the stars. Does that look fun? Well, Henry didn't know there were so many stars in the sky. Look at that. They found the Little Dipper. And when you look up in the sky, sometimes there's little patterns you can see that are very recognizable. And sometimes they let you know where you are. So sometimes at night you can figure out where you are if you know how to read the sky. And they also found the Big Dipper. There was the Big Dipper. Do you see how the stars sort of line up in a pattern and they look like a scoop? Does that look like a little bit of a ladle you'd scoop, or a spoon? That's the Little Dipper and that's the Big Dipper. And they're really famous. Well, let's see here. Oh, guess what happened? The dad looks up and he sees a shooting star. Sometimes when you're looking at the sky, there is a star that looks like it's falling, and it has a trail of fire behind it, or a big streak. It's beautiful, but you have to just stare at the sky and then see it. It's hard to just see them. They just don't happen all the time, but they do happen. So if you get to a place like the cabin where it's dark enough and stare at the sky, usually after a few minutes, you might be lucky to see a falling star or a shooting star. Look at them. They're so excited because they saw a shooting star. I hope sometime you'll get to see a shooting star or a falling star. They actually do happen pretty much, but it's sort of hard to see them when they do it. Mudge wasn't looking at stars. He was chewing on a log. He couldn't get logs this good at home. Mudge loved camping. He just found a log he liked to chew on. Don't know why, but that's what he was doing. Well, Henry's father sang one more song. Then everybody went inside the tent to sleep. Henry's father and mother snuggled, and Henry and Mudge snuggled. Oh, there's Mudge. Do you see the guitar? They're inside their little tent. And there's the mom and the dad. They're all inside the tent. Isn't it fun that they do that? And look what they're looking at. Outside the tent is their fire that they made their dinner with, and it's almost all out. Wow, sounds like they had a great time. It was as quiet could be that night. Everyone slept so well. It was wonderful. Look at that. You got the moon, the stars, the lake. Oh my. Look at that. They were having such a good time, and that's their little campsite. Do you see it? Right there is where they were camping. Isn't that beautiful? Look at all the trees. Reminds me of the cabin. They said he slept so well, and it was just the smell of the trees. Look at all those trees, and look at their little tent and their place for their fire on the lake. They had a wonderful time, and they loved being at Big Bear Lake. So I love you. I hope you enjoyed the story about Henry and Mudge. And I hope you have a great day. I love you so much. Are you ready? I love you. Bye.